Good evening folks, and welcome back to another playthrough video. And today I'm starting up a new series that I guess I'm going to run in parallel to my 4 Against Darkness series. This is another game that's sort of in the same arena as 4 Against Darkness. This is NoteQuest, and I have done a few NoteQuest videos before. However, the first time round, a couple of things of note. Firstly, my old videos are filmed on my old phone and the quality was significantly less, and those videos proved to be quite popular. So hopefully these videos will find a similar audience and be enjoyed even more for being of a slightly better quality. Okay. Also, in the previous videos I was playing with the basic rules of NoteQuest, and this time around we're going to be using the expanded rules. And what does that mean? That means that not only are we going to be doing, or not only is my character going to be doing delves into particular dungeons and little explorations of, say, the crypt or the tomb or the sanctuary or the temple or the prison. Not only are we going to be doing that, but we're going to be creating a world around these locations, sort of joining the dots, so to speak. And we're going to do that by doing a hex crawl. So we're going to create a hex map of the world in which these locations exist, and so the character will have to move from location to location and other places in between cities and having encounters and whatnot. And that, I have to say, having been running an adventure off camera using these rules, has been absolutely great. I've been really enjoying it. The hex rules are quite simple, but they are very effective and really do allow you to create a world and to give a real sense of exploring and moving through that world. And I've found that this has really changed up my NoteQuest experience, because if you've watched my other videos, you will notice that I die quite a lot. And I think probably a key element of playing NoteQuest is not just blindly going forward into a dungeon, actually stopping and saying, hey, I think that if I carried on here I'm probably going to die. And so leaving the dungeon, regrouping, recharging health and stuff, and then going back in, and going in repeated times, hopefully finding more treasure each time, getting a little bit stronger, and doing it that way. And I've found that having this wider world beyond the walls of the dungeon has really encouraged me to take that approach. It's felt much more logical to me to say, okay, I've had a bit of a go at this dungeon, and now I'm going to leave and I'm going to go back to a nearby city. I might go back to the dungeon once I've recuperated, or I might carry on, leave that dungeon for a little while, and then explore someplace else. So this is my hero that I'm running my own off-camera adventure using. He's a halfling cook. I haven't actually given him a name, but what have we got here? I mean, I just had a particularly good dungeon exploration session, and it's left me with all sorts of goodies that I can sell and use to get stuff that will help me in future dungeon adventures. I've also ended up with some armour for the first time. I've never had armour before, and this is a breastplate of laughter, which gives me plus 10 HP, but annoyingly I guess also makes a loud cackling noise, and therefore I can't sneak or creep at all whilst wearing it. So that's kind of annoying, but an amusing little quirk. Yeah, let's see. Let me show you my Hex world that I've been creating gradually. So each you start off in one central hex, and we'll do this in a minute. I'm going to start off a new adventure in this video, and we will build a map like this from scratch. So this is my starting city here, and then you generate the land around it, and then I sort of moved through and up this way through some plains and some forests, and then I discovered an elven city up here. While I was in the elven city, I asked around, I asked in the local tavern or what have you, and they reported that there was, actually I'd gone straight past and not even noticed a cave back here. So I went back to the cave and I explored the cave. I'm sure I explored two locations, two sort of dungeony locations. I can't remember what they are. Hang on a second. Where's my character again? Because over here on the right hand side of my character sheet I've been recording the different locations that I've found. So there's the human city, the elven city, oh, and then I discovered an orc city. That's right, there's an orc city next to the human city. And then the cave was the secret cave of the night soldier. And then I discovered the grimy ziggurat of the flaming hell, and that was in location E. Oh yeah, I didn't draw anything for that one. I wasn't really sure how to draw a ziggurat. So yeah. Oh, and outside the ziggurat, that was where I encountered my owl friend. I've now got an owl companion, and he allows me to travel through forests using fewer provisions. Because one of the ways this the expanded experience differs from the base experience is that you have provisions, and these deplete as you journey around the world, and if they ever run out, then you have to start depleting your health, and then obviously if that runs out, then you die. So you have to sort of consider that as you're going. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to create a new character. That shouldn't take too long. And then once we've created the character, we're going to start creating the hex world that character will be exploring. And my suspicion is that once we've created the character, once we've created the hex world and I've shown you how that works, then that'll probably be enough for the first video. And then in the second video we can go off into the world that we've created and start exploring a little bit and maybe finding the first dungeon. Okay, so with all that said and done, let's put aside my stuff for the other adventure. I'm going to need to keep hold of a couple of these sheets. There we go. Pop that over there. And I need a blank bit of paper. I think there is a character sheet that you can get, but I haven't been using those. I've just been using a bit of paper and making my own character sheet as I go along. So we need to go all the way back to the start in order to build a character. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to roll on the character table, but if I don't like what I roll, I'm just going to roll again, because in part I've noticed that I've ended up running a couple of blacksmiths and a guard, because 6s and 7s are numbers frequently rolled on 2d6. Then those characters end up being the sort of characters that I end up with quite a lot of time. Basically, I'm just going to do what I want. Right. Okay, so we're going to roll for race. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got a halfling. Interestingly, my other character that I'm playing at the moment is also a halfling. Do I want to roll again? I'm not sure I do, because I thought halflings were going to be a bit rubbish, but actually their special ability makes them really quite good. So when you roll to move silently, you roll 2 dice and discard the lowest. Because if you want to move silently through a room, you have to roll a dice for each monster that you're trying to sneak past. Every time you roll a 1, if you roll a 1 rather, at any point, then that monster spots you, and your attempt at moving silently fails. So this means it's much more likely you can move silently, and in a game where it's so easy to snuff it, like this one, that is pretty handy. So I'm going to roll another. I'm going to have another halfling. What class is the halfling going to be? 7. Guard. This is what I told you. Blacksmiths, guards. We're going to roll again. Whoop. 8. A cook. Yeah, I've had a cook before as well. But cooks do... Oh, is that what? That's literally what my current character is, a halfling cook. Well, we're not going to have a halfling cook. Again. That's 8 again. So that's a cook again. 7. Guard again. See, this is the issue with this way of generating classes. 5. A scholar? I spelt wrong, but a scholar. You start the game with 3 random spells. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Do you know what? I think I might just go back to my original role and be a guard and be done with it, because I'm faffing around now. So we're a halfling guard. So the halfling starts off with 14, and being a guard gets you an additional 4. So our maximum HP at present is 18. Cool, cool, cool. And we've got a weapon. The guard comes with a short sword. Cool, cool, cool. We're going to need a little box to track our provisions. And you have a max of 20 provisions. And we're going to need a sort of a backpack area. And we're going to need torches. Torches are very important in NoteQuest. So with the character done, we then need to create our world that we will be exploring. So I've got a hex sheet here. So we've got our provisions marked up, and we're going to draw the map. So it recommends you start with the center tile and you draw a symbol to represent your first city. It will be a human city on a plane. So here we go. I'm going to draw my... I suppose should I do it this way? Something in me likes the idea of having it landscape. I guess that's just because when you see a map of the world, it tends to look sort of landscapey with a pole up here and a pole down there. Anywho, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to mark my first city here, I think. So I'm just going to draw some little square buildings. There we go. Guess that kind of looks like a city. And what I've been doing is lettering key locations and then making some notes alongside my character sheet. So that is a human city. So with the human city in place, we then work our way around generating the landscape terrain, the terrain types of the surrounding hexes. I think the idea is that you would start with the top hex like that. So I've just always been starting with the top right hex like so. So I'm going to once again do this in, you have the option of doing a hot climate or a cold climate. And I think I'm going to once again do a hot climate. So we're going to roll 1d6 to generate our first terrain type, and we're in a plain. If you're on a mountain or a forest or a swamp or a desert or on water, then your rolls would generate different types of terrain, which is kind of cool. So, if you're on water, for example, on a boat, because you can hire boats, you're very likely to find additional water. You might find a swamp, or possibly you might find a plain. But on a plain, it's very likely you would find a plain, but possible that you'll find water, mountain, or forest. Let's go for it. 4. So we're straight in with another plain. Okay, and I've been representing planes by drawing little hillocks like that. There we go, so we've got some planes there. Next one going around clockwise. 6 is another plane. Maybe throw in a few random little pockets of trees as well. There we go. Okay, let's keep going. 5, that's another plane. Very planey. Very planey. Okay, next one. 3, forest. Okay. Again, I don't really want to, I'm not going to fill it with forest, because if there's some kind of important location there, I might want to add some other icon or little drawing to represent it. So I know that's forest, I'll remember that. Let's keep going, got 2 more. 4, back on the plains. Okay, and the last one is 2, which is a mountain, or a mountainous region. Okay, so I'm just going to draw one mountain for the time being. Again, in case I need to put something else in there. So there you go. Here's our starting area. Mainly plains, but with a little bit of forest down at the south and a little mountainous region up to the north. Right. So yeah, as I said, I think I'm going to stop this video there before we start thinking about heading off into the wilderness and exploring. Yeah, there's a lot more in here. I mean, I haven't mentioned anything really. We've got different events that can happen depending upon the type of terrain that you're on. We've got things you can do in the cities. We've got a sort of affinity between the races section. So if you're a human going into a gnome city, well, you're fine, but you're not allowed to go into an orc city, for example. What else have we got? We've got rules on finding dungeons, different methods for getting money in the city, ruins, portals, other worlds, new interesting races, crazy races. If you want to play a half goat, well, you can. Or if you want to play a dolphin man? Dolphmen? I think that's, yeah, alright. Or a smart zombie. It's all stuff you can do if you really want to. Or a ghostbuster. Interesting. There's loads of additional spells. You can hire people to help you. You can, I mean, if you survive long enough, you can build buildings, including palaces. There's political tables in here. All of this stuff is there's not a huge amount of detail, but all of it combined means that there's really quite a lot of depth and potential in this game. And we're going to see where that takes us when we head off into our new world that we've created with our Halfling Guard character. So thank you very much for joining me on this first NoteQuest expanded world video. I appreciate you joining me. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more adventures like this, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.